Welcome to Happy Hour. Um, and for the theme for tonight, what was coming up for me? There's so many supportive themes in the realm and the range of Brahma Viharas and practices of the heart that can be particularly supportive at this time. And one theme that has been coming up for me is a sense, is a feel, is a practice of um, of gratitude and gratitude during hard times, which might seem like an oxymoron. How can you be grateful when things are hard? But actually, with a sense of gratitude, we can support ourselves in challenging times. And no matter how challenging things might be, there's always so much to be grateful for, or rather, there's something to be grateful for. And if our imagination, if our perspective is only stuck in what is challenging, what is difficult, then we miss what is supportive, what is good, what is um, um, nourishing. So the idea of, just to be clear, the idea of gratitude during hard times is not about condoning. It's not about being Pollyannish and saying, "Oh, everything is fine. I have to be grateful. I'm going to be grateful." It's not about that at all. It's about acknowledging what is challenging, but balancing that and not, or at least not losing sight of what is also good. Because as I've shared before during happy hour and many times, as I like to share, um, is the understanding that, and the acknowledgement really in ourselves that as human beings we have a negativity bias, and every single one of us has a negativity bias. It's just the way we run as humans, and it's completely understandable evolutionarily if humans did not have a negativity bias, if they paid more attention to the berries instead of the tiger, um, if then they wouldn't live long enough. The tiger would get them, so they wouldn't live long enough to pass down their genes. So they had to have a negativity bias and be really aware of their environment and be very concerned about um, the the dangers in the environment, the negativities in the environment, more than the positive signals. Because if you miss the berry one day, you'll probably get some more berries tomorrow. You might be stomach, you might be hungry, your stomach will be noisy for a few days, but you won't die. You will live long enough to pass down your genes. So guess who passed down their genes? Those who had negativity bias and really paid attention to the negative and not so much to what's positive and what's good in the environment. So if you find in yourself, in your own state of mind, that you get much more affected by bad news, you get much more affected by what is challenging in your life, you are much more challenged and lose your balance um, at the thought of any difficulty, and what you find yourself ruminating about all day perhaps are not the good things that are happening in your life right now, but really all the things that you are worried about, all the things that are the negative aspects, negative issues in your life. So if you find that to be true for yourself, raise your hand. Maybe I can see the hands raised on yeah, of course, because you're human beings. It's a part of being human. That's what happens. And if you're not noticing that, um, Either you're completely enlightened, in which case would you like to teach a class, um, or you may not be noticing what your mind is actually doing throughout the day. Maybe you're so checked out that you're not even noticing what's happening. So, or somewhere in the middle. I'm of course being a little facetious, but the reason why I'm putting it this way is so that number one, we don't self-flagellate. We don't think that I keep worrying and I keep losing my balance. There's something wrong with me, and everybody has it. Everybody has their stuff together. It's just me. Guess what? It's not just you. This is part of our human condition, our gift, the legacy of being human. So I say this so that you can relax and not self flagellate for your self flagellation. At least one level of relaxation and ease. And however much ease we can have in this in this body and mind. That's a wonderful place to start. The other thing, the reason why I'm really bringing this in and pointing it out is for us to acknowledge that this is how our minds work. We are not so much in control. We feel in control, but we have less control than we realize on this mind and body. We've essentially been dropped into this being without any manuals, any owner manuals, and you just okay, go figure it all out. And one thing that we know about this body and mind is that it has a negativity bias. So if you knew this, if you bought a car, if you're given a car and said, well, it tends to kind of go towards the left. It's got kind of pulls to the left. If you knew that, what would you do? You would intentionally pull towards the right a little bit to balance, wouldn't you? That would make sense. Otherwise, you would keep going left and you would end up in a ditch. But having this knowledge, having this information can support us. Okay. So, so with that, with knowing that actually bringing in the good with contemplating goodness, contemplating gratitude, it's an act of supporting ourselves and also bringing ourselves back to balance. It's not about being Pollyannish. It's about being balanced so that we can be more available for ourselves. We can be more available for others. When we are balanced, that is the position from which we can show up fully and take on more challenges and be more compassionate, more kind, more loving, more resilient, both for our own sake and the sake of everyone whose life we touch. So we do this work not just for ourselves, but for everyone whom we care about, and even people we don't know. But this will affect them too. Part of a longer talk, but I'll keep it short. So, last thing I want to say before getting started is you don't have to be grateful. This is not a practice of shoulding at all. And as I guide us in this practice, if at any moment there is resistance, that's perfectly fine. Don't should yourself into positivity. If there is something that's really heavy, as long as you are with it and really face it with honesty, and openness and acceptance, then you're doing this practice great. So don't try to force positivity or gladness or gratitude. That's actually the perfect way for it to backfire and make you even more miserable. There's some studies about that, studies about forced happiness that actually makes us more miserable. So this is not a forced practice. It's an invitation. So throughout the guided meditation, I will be giving invitations. And it's an invitation. If you like to accept the invitation, great. If you don't want to accept the invitation in that moment, there is resistance, great. Just be curious and see what comes up in your heart and mind. Okay. So with all that, let's get comfortable in our in our cushion, in our chair. See what your body needs so that you can sit comfortably. Bringing awareness, bringing awareness to this body, letting your body relax, letting your body relax, letting your body soften, arrive. As if your body was a block of ice, let it melt. Let your body feel heavy, starting with your hands. Letting there be a sense of heaviness and ease, giving up any tension in your hands. Similarly with your arms, moving up to the arms. Letting your whole arm, your shoulders be heavy. Offering up any tension. Letting your neck, muscles of your face feel heavy. Allowing your eyes to rest back in the socket. Let your jaw feel relaxed. Let your forehead be relaxed, pulled down by gravity, letting go of its weight. You can put down the mask that you usually wear on your face, a smile or whatever it might be. Just let the whole face relax, soften. Relaxing and softening the chest, the abdomen. Let your whole trunk feel heavy. Landing in your sit bones. Let your legs, upper legs, lower legs, and feet feel heavy, relaxing, letting go of any tension they're holding. Allow your entire body to feel heavy, letting go of any tension, any holding, letting gravity pull down. Gravity pulling down any tension, any tightness in your head, face, shoulders, neck, arms, hands, chest, abdomen, sit bones, upper, lower legs and feet, the entire body. See if there's anywhere that tension has crept in and relax some more. And as your body relaxes more and is with ease, feeling the breath moving through the body, feeling the breath, the in-breath and the out-breath, softening and relaxing. With each out-breath, landing more deeply in this body. Feeling the sense of being in this body more and more. What is it like? In this breath, this in-breath. What does this in-breath feel like? What does this out-breath, relaxing, softening, what does this right here feel like? Not the last breath, not the next one. Right here, right now, feeling the immediacy of this moment. Just sitting and breathing for a moment. And as thoughts arise, as thoughts, worries, it's okay, you're not doing this practice wrong. It's quite natural and normal. While we're trying to settle and soothe the mind, it's okay to just turn to them smilingly and say, "Not now, thank you. Come back later, please." Noticing what the mind is resting on, and ever so gently, playfully, laughingly, inviting your awareness, your attention to come back to the body, relaxed, soft, to the breath. This moment feels enough. Just sitting, relaxed, soft. Just sitting and breathing. Taking refuge in this moment's simplicity. Nothing more is needed. Nothing needs to be different. Even if distractions are arising, it's okay. Embracing, opening up wholeheartedly to the perfection of this moment exactly as it is. Not needing it to be any different. Taking a few minutes to just enjoy sitting and breathing. The simplicity of this radical act in this busy, crazy world. Knowing you can be content to simply be, sit and breathe, and let go. And you are welcome to continue to just be aware of the breath and the body breathing with sense of contentment as much as it is available, even if there are a lot of thoughts, if there is sleepiness, to have a sense of ease with whatever is arising. Conditions don't have to be perfect, whatever that is. But seeing if there can be a sense of contentment, just a tiny bit of contentment with this moment exactly as it is, whatever it is. And don't look for it too hard. Contentment, this big word, can just show up as a sense of ease or a smile, just a sense of comfort in your body or calm. There's so many different ways it can show up. Or it can show up as gladness. Maybe it shows up as gratitude. In this moment, right here, whatever is happening. And I'd like to invite you, if you like, as you're continuing to sit and be aware of your body breathing, and maybe some level of more ease in your body or more settling that might be available right now. Or maybe a sense of ease with having a distracted mind, or ease with sleepiness, or ease with pain. See if there is something that comes to your mind, and don't push it, but if there's something that brings up a sense of appreciation and gratitude for you. Might be that you're feeling grateful that you're not beating yourself over the head for your mind being distracted. Maybe at times during meditation you have thought, I can't do this, I'm terrible. You have unleashed challenging words on yourself. But now there's a sense of ease knowing that this is what minds do. They wander around, so there is more ease. Ah, you not beating yourself up. This ease brings gratitude, this newfound perspective. Ah, maturity, wisdom, growth in practice. Doesn't mean that we always do it perfectly right, whatever right is, but that we have more ease with circumstances of our life, of our heart, of our mind. So if that is arising, maybe that perhaps gives rise to some gratitude for yourself, for all the causes and conditions that have brought you to this point of more maturity in the way of being, in the way of showing up. And now I'd like to invite you, again, don't push it. Any of these invitations don't work for you, just stay with the breath and the body. Now the invitation is to bring to mind if today or in the past few days someone has offered you support in thoughts, in words, in action. They have extended kindness, support. You have felt supported by them in some way. And maybe bring their image to mind, their felt sense. And perhaps, if it feels right for you, thanking them in your heart for their kindness. In your mind's eye, letting them feel how grateful, how appreciative you are, and what a difference it's made for you. Now, if you like, you can bow in your heart to this being. Choose someone else whom you have felt supported by in some way. It might have been a direct interaction, or maybe they don't even know that you felt supported by them. And expressing your appreciation in your heart, as if you could communicate without words, but let them really feel how significant their action, their words, their thoughts have been for you. Really having them grok it, get it in your mind's eye. Now bowing to that being in your heart. Now, if you wish, I'd like to invite you to bring to mind something in your life right now, in general, that you are grateful for, a blessing. And really feel, allowing yourself to feel the goodness of this blessing without feeling guilty or small, letting your heart shine, expand in gratitude as if you were going to drop to the ground and kiss the ground in humility. For this goodness, for this grace. And grace is exactly that. You have done nothing to deserve it, and that's okay. It graces you, it visits you, it holds you, blesses you, just because. So letting the grace of this goodness buoy up your heart. And bowing to this goodness, letting it go. And now for the last invitation, I'd like to invite you to perhaps consider something that's a little challenging for you right now in your life. And is there a way that there can be some gratitude for this grace? And there's no should here, remember, it's only an invitation. You do not have to accept this last invitation at all. See if there is something in your life that's a little challenging. You can open your heart to it. See the grace, see the beauty in this challenge too. Again, there is no should. See if it happens on its own. I'm bowing to this, to the grace of this challenge too. I'd like to invite you to bring back your awareness to your body, to your breath. Your feet touching the ground, your legs touching the floor, your hands touching each other or your lap, your breath moving throughout your body. Welcome back. So if there are any words or impressions arising right now, you are welcome to either unmute yourself and share a word or two, or you can type them in the chat and I will read them out loud. I'll start by sharing with you what's coming up for me right now in this moment is a sense of more ease in my body, in my heart, in my mind, more settledness having sat with you. And also a sense of embracing both the goodness in my life as well as all the challenges with a smile. There is something in them for me to learn and grow through. That's what's coming up for me right now. So happy to open it up. Any reflections you like to share? Settled and grateful. Thank you, Austin. Ease, acceptance, peaceful and grounded. Lovely. Quieting the chaotic vibrations from today. Lovely. Hopeful. Thank you. Strength from France on YouTube. Grief. That is welcome too. Peace. Grateful breath. Gratitude for my challenging but unconditionally loving family and for a job interview tomorrow. Beautiful. I think I already, oh yes, contentment for the obvious, invisible. Lovely. Thank you, Nav. Contentment for the obvious, invisible. Lovely. Beautiful. So, I'd like to run a poll tonight, actually. And the poll I would like to run is, let's see. Can I run the poll? Here we go. Oh, yes. Okay. So sometimes it's kind of nice to, I like to check in to see if people right now would like to continue staying in the large group or for more QA, open QA, or go into small breakout groups for just a few minutes of personal exchange. So you're welcome to vote. Please vote. And if you have no preference, please vote for that too. And we'll see what votes come in tonight. %, 80% have voted. Keep going. Oh, it's getting very close. Keep the few of you who haven't voted, please vote. This is getting it's very exciting. I just want to tell you, breakout groups has 7 so far. Large group has 9. No preference has 5. And a few people haven't voted yet. 4 people haven't voted yet. Okay. All right. So I'm going to close the poll. And the large group has it. In fact, I'm going to share the results. This is the fun thing about Zoom. You can't do this in real time. So the large group QA has it by a couple of people. So tonight we'll stick with that. But actually with the understanding that if we're going to stay in the large group Q&A, there better be some Q&A. So those of you who voted, the 9 of you, there better be some reflections in Q&A. So let's give that a try. Yeah. All right. So take it away. We're going to stay in the big group tonight and just try it out. So reflections, questions, comments, complaints, insights. You can raise your hand, unmute yourself, especially feel the pressure, the 9 of you for the big groups.
I have a question about your thoughts on something.
Sure, please.
I am not terribly familiar with Buddhism or all of the kind of implications that come along with that, but recently read something about, in general, the theory is that we're all part of a process. We're not actually a specific, ego or individual. And I think I must be mulling that over subconsciously, and because my grandfather died about a year ago, and my grandma died just about a month ago, maybe a little bit more than that. And for some reason, that's really like I just think about it a lot, and have had kind of maybe a realization that they were just, I guess, part of a process, and the fact that they've influenced, even if it's not anything spiritual, even if it's just neurologically, I'm a continuation of that line. I guess I'm kind of curious what Buddhism would have to say about that, or if you have any experience with dealing with death and how people kind of cope with losing someone because they're, quite frankly, not here in the form that we ever would see them again,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, Shari. There's a lot in your question, so I'm going to do a little bit of a back and forth with you for a moment, if that's okay, because there's a lot in what you've asked. So as I can reflect back what I've heard, as you started by saying that you're not so familiar with Buddhism, you're starting practicing, and some things that you've read about, and I think what you were probably referring to, that we are part of a process, is more that we are a process. This idea that Buddhism
right.
Teaches it's anatta, or not self, that there is no center, there's no homunculus, there's no self in here, but this is a process that's happening. So I think that's what you were referring to.
Right.
So that's something that you're reflecting on and kind of dropping that in. And what does that even mean, that we are a process and we're part of a process too? I love that interpretation of it too, because we are a part of a process, this process
Right.
of humanity. We take our dear selves, so we're the center of our own universe, and yet we come and we go. We're part of this wave of humanity. So this is a process in a micro way and in a macro way, we're also part of a larger process, of course. And that reflection is also very moving for you, and trying to sit with it with respect to having lost both of your grandparents recently, whom you were very close to, I take it. So you're very affected by losing your grandma and grandmother and grandfather, and so grief is happening right now. There's grief and sadness. So the question also becomes, the reflection becomes, how to hold this being part of this process as you feel that they are in you, the what they taught you, the way they loved you, that all those causes and conditions, Buddhism causes, calls those
Right.
causes and conditions, but it's everything is a cause and condition, everything that happens in the world. So
Yeah.
you, whoever you are, they continue through you, that all of the process that they were, everything that they did, everything that was their impact is impact, many of what the interactions they had with you and their genetics and everything, and that is affecting you. So you are continuing to live that as part of the conditionality of your being in the world. So um so how um so there's so many different places I can take that question now. So
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
reflected that back, so what would be supportive for you?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess I'm just curious what the Buddhist perspective is on death, and how we cope, and I guess I'm not sure.
Yeah. Great. So it's interesting that you bring up this question, especially because mindfulness of death is one of the topics that I teach a lot on. Is one of
Hmm.
my um, interests, keen interests. So I'll I'll share with you the Buddhist party line on death. But it's not something for you to believe. Of course, I'll just share with you what it is, and also I'll share with you some of my own reflections, and which so so the there is this idea of rebirth in Buddhism, and again, it's not needed, required to one that can be a Buddhist, or follow, or practice meditation without ever considering um, uh, rebirth. But the idea is that the and the idea of rebirth is different from reincarnation, by the way. So
Right.
reincarnation is the idea that this self, this soul, gets reborn, um, comes back to life, whereas the idea of reincarnation, the rebirth, is that um, the karmic potentialities, so all the causes and conditions, somehow they take a new shape or form. And I can talk more about that, but I'm going to pause for a moment, and I want to come back to what's actually affecting you right now, which is the idea, which is the impact of grief. So because you are impacted by grief. So emotions, sadness, grief, they're all to be embraced. They're not to be pushed away. Um, so the invitation would be to let everything move through you, to let the sadness, the grief, um, move through you, and the bigger picture that can help with the grief coming and going, um, is a realization of the great impermanence of our lives, that your grandparents passed away, uh, not because it's a mistake, not because it's a problem. um, we all do, and it's challenging, it's difficult. You miss them, you love them. I miss people I've lost, and so it's both, because sometimes if we don't really contemplate or really have the perspective of the truth of impermanence, that everything comes, everything goes, everything, in the momentary basis and also in the long term basis. And our lives, if we don't really, really appreciate that, then there can be so much anger and so much confusion that it shouldn't be happening. No, it should be happening. That's how it is. That's the truth of life. We come and we go. It's supposed to be this way. And so that allows for the grief to move through with more ease. Not to say there isn't going to be the 5 stages of grief, according to Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. There is going to be anger. There is going to be bargaining. There is going to be all of that. And there needs to be. It's part of healthy grief. It needs to be a part of it. And yet, it having this bigger perspective of impermanence allows the grief to move through with more ease. So that's what I would invite you as you are grieving to hold a bigger perspective of impermanence and allow the grief to move through exactly as it is. So that bigger perspective of impermanence isn't supposed to squash, isn't supposed to quiet. It's not supposed to say, well, okay, stop crying now because everything comes and goes. No, that's so please don't do it that way.
Yeah.
It's just a container that, yes, of course, everything's impermanent. We all die. And it's uncertain. The fact that we actually even come to life, that there we even exist is a gift. It's an incredible, amazing gift. That the fact that your grandmother and grandfather even existed, that they came to be, was a miracle. The fact that you exist, I exist, that we're here having this conversation, this is a miracle. And there will be emotions and there will be sadness and all of that too. No part left out. No part left out. Really, no part left out.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. And that was such a rich question that we're at time, 7 o'clock. So I really appreciate you bringing that in.
I apologize to everyone else.
It's all good. This is the human condition. No apology necessary. It's part of we all go through loving and losing. And the exchange that we had, I appreciate, because if it doesn't come handy or if it's not relevant for someone now, it will be in the future, or if it hasn't been already. So feel. And besides, I took. And here, Nancy already says, great question. Thanks for asking it. See, you're already getting thank yous in chat, Sherry. So, so with that, I am grateful to all of you. It's my gratitude in this impermanent world, the coming and going, this miracle of being here. I am so grateful that we spend this hour together, practicing together and keeping each other's company, in practice, in gratitude, in settling, in calming, in centering. So thank you all for showing up for yourself and for others. And may all beings be well. May all beings be free, including us. Thank you and have a great evening. Take care, everyone. Good night.